Patients Take Center Stage is part of our overarching conference theme this year. To support this, we welcome two extraordinary patients who have become patient advocates, both of whom have offered to share their experiences with clinical trials and what it means to be patient-centric. Let's first welcome Gordon Levine. Born and raised in Montreal, Gordon practiced commercial law as a partner at Kugler Candestin. In November 2014, at age 48, Gordon learned that he had a malignant tumor in his colon. Over the next 4 years, Gordon underwent several surgeries and various lines of chemotherapy, which put him into 2 brief remissions. In early 2018, the cancer returned, this time having also spread to the abdomen, liver, lung, and bone. Gordon enrolled in a clinical trial. While this treatment showed early promise, CT scans later that year indicated further tumor growth. Having exhausted his available treatment options in Montreal, Gordon sought a second opinion at USCD Moores Cancer Center in San Diego. Next generation sequencing indicated that Gordon might respond to treatment with a combination of 2 immunotherapies. After 3 rounds of treatment, a CT scan showed substantial reduction in the cancer. As a result of the immunotherapy combination, Gordon was able to reduce his pain medication and live an active life. Treatment ended in the summer of 2020, having resulted in the eradication of all the cancer, save for a resistant area in the sigmoid colon. In the spring of 2021, Gordon underwent surgery to remove the remaining disease and create a permanent ostomy. After responding to the immunotherapy treatment, Gordon has become an active in patient advocacy as an advocate for Cancer Research Institute, better known as CRI. In addition, Gordon has and continues to contribute to Colorectal Cancer Canada and works on an individual basis with many cancer patients who are also seeking effective treatment for their cancers. We're thrilled to have Gordon with us today to share more details of his story and his experiences. Welcome, Gordon.
Thank you, Henry. And it's a pleasure to be here. I was first diagnosed in November of 2014, so it is now 8 years of survival, which is amazing, and it's a testament to the advances that have been made in precision medicine in the last 8 years. And my journey kind of encompasses this development. When I was first diagnosed, it was basically standard surgery and chemo. There was no discussion about sequencing or biomarkers. Effectively, cancer was treated based on the origin of the disease. So I had colon cancer, and therefore I received a standard protocol of chemotherapy. Initially, there was success because I was in remission, but it was brief. And I quickly developed from a stage 3 to a stage 4 with spread into the abdomen. And once again was given, at the time, I guess it was considered a little bit more of an advanced treatment, which was the HIPEC surgery, where they combine the surgery to remove the disease in the abdomen and put warm chemo into you while you're on the operating table. Of course, that type of surgery has a lot of side effects and is a very tough one to recover from. And from what I'm seeing is being less encouraged, given that overall statistics are not bearing out the benefit versus the side effect cost and the recovery cost. I was then in another brief remission, but then had a recurrence in 2018 that was a serious recurrence with spread into organs and bone. And at that point, the only systemic type of treatment I could receive was through a clinical trial. And I was fortunate to be enrolled in an immunotherapy trial in Montreal, which initially appeared to be working, but ultimately there was progression. And because of that, I was required to exit the study. I was given then a fourth line, which was toxic. And at that point, the situation was quite dire. I was lucky to be able to get a consult with a GI oncologist in San Diego. And now we're talking about the fall of 2018, and the landscape had changed quite a bit. Before this doctor wanted to meet with me and discuss my case, he told me that I should have my tumor sequenced. And in addition, the company that did the sequencing also sequenced my germline. And this was very significant because prior to that point, the doctors, certainly my local doctors, were very pessimistic about my chances of survival, given the spread of disease and given the statistics for stage 4 metastatic colon cancer. The report came back from the sequencing, which showed a germline mutation. And this was an important factor in the second opinion, which didn't rely only on the sequencing, but based on other factors, including family history and my experience with the initial clinical trial. The doctor felt that even though the immunotherapy treatment he was recommending was not within FDA approval, that I would still be a good candidate to try this treatment. So even though I wasn't in a formal clinical trial, it was almost as if it was a clinical trial for one, because I was receiving this treatment on a kind of experimental basis. And incredibly, after 3 rounds of treatment, the tumors started to shrink. And throughout the course of the immunotherapy treatments that I received, the disease continued to go away to the point that I was able to cut my pain medication because I had suffered with a lot of pain due to bone mets. And I was able to really regain not just my life, but living my life in a much more active manner. What I saw in my own experience through this period of time was the development of a more biomarker-based approach to cancer treatment rather than a disease locality. So, for instance, instead of looking at stage 4 colon cancer with all of the dire prognosis attached to that, when the analysis was done of my DNA and my genetic makeup, this opened the door to a treatment that was highly effective and not only extended my life, but has given me back my life in a significant way. So one of the main points of this conference is that the patient is to be considered the center of the approach to research. And I think my case illustrates this in a significant way because on paper, looking at certain of the factors, many doctors would come to the conclusion that my prognosis would be very, very poor. But when putting the whole picture together of me as an individual patient, along with family history, disease history, and biomarkers, the conclusion to attempt a treatment for me ended up with tremendous results. And that's the point of all of this. We all need treatments that will work for us as individuals. And whereas a cure for cancer as a whole may be too far a reach, we can each find our own treatments that help us as individuals.